The University of Notre Dame, Australia acknowledges the traditional owners of the land on which the Sydney campus is located, the Gadigal people of the Aurora Nation, and pays respect to elders past and present and emerging, for they hold the knowledge, traditions and culture of their people and their land. At every religious liberty lecture and conference so far that I've spoken at, I've always chosen a short passage from Scripture, which hopefully helps everyone to focus on the conference theme. So this year's conference theme is religious freedom and inclusivity, compatibility, conflict and the future. So tonight and tomorrow, I'd like to invite you to ponder this text from the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verses 1 to 2, and I'm using the New Jerusalem Bible translation. So it reads, "Proclaim the message and welcome or unwelcome, insist on it. Refute falsehood, correct error, give encouragement, but do all with patience and with care to instruct. So proclaim the message and welcome or unwelcome, insist on it. Refute falsehood, correct error, give encouragement, but do it all with patience and with care to instruct." So how does that requirement, how does that instruction fit with the contemporary understanding of inclusion? Notre Dame School of Law in Sydney has had a strong focus on religious liberty since its inception. And this fact is evident from its publication, the first publication in our new publishing imprint, the Shepherd Street Press, which is called Religious Freedom in Australia, a New Terra Nullius. I'm told, but I'm not sure now, that copies should be available for purchase today. Dr. Keith Thompson will be able to resolve that question for you if you would like to buy a copy tonight. Because what a great Christmas present. What a great Christmas present that book would be. Whilst I'm making announcements, could I also mention that Greg Bondar has brought along some copies of the annual report of Family Voice, and they're available for collection if you're interested at the table at the back. Now, as we wait to see what amendments will be made to the Commonwealth Government's exposure draft of its religious discrimination bill and whether it will pass, and we wait to see whether the state law that the Honourable Mark Latham has prepared for consideration in New South Wales and whether that will progress in this state, religious freedom has never been more important. Add to those developments the increasing number of estates and territories in Australia which have passed laws mandating the referral of patients seeking an abortion by health professionals who have a conscientious objection to that practice, and the increasing number of states and territories which have criminalised a wide range of activities including public prayer and the offering of support and information about alternatives within designated exclusion zones near facilities where terminations of pregnancies take place, and the increasing number of states and territories in Australia which have acted to abrogate the seal of the confessional. And you get the very strong impression that things in religious freedom land are far from fine. It's worth pondering the fact that even in California, that most liberal of states, the Parliament recently rejected legislation which would have overridden religious confession privilege in a much, much more narrower scope than has happened already in many states and territories of this country. As the Dean of a Catholic law school in a Catholic university, the University of Notre Dame, Australia, religious freedom is more than just a concern or an area of interest. I simply could not do what I do every day, and nor could the staff in the school do what they do every day without religious freedom. So it really is an existential question, an existential issue for the School of Law and for this university, and for every faith-based institution. The School of Law Sydney Annual Religious Liberty Lecture was established way back in 2012. In more recent years, we've had to add a full-day conference a day after the lecture because the issues have grown exponentially and they continue to do so. And I would encourage everyone here to attend our third annual conference on religious liberty, which will be taking place in this very spot from 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And if you haven't collected one, programs are available at the back of the room. If you do take a program, that means you have to come tomorrow. If not, please leave it behind when you leave. We have speakers joining us for the conference, and some of them are here tonight from overseas and interstate, so I do hope you can join us. And if you've had a look at the program, you'll see it's an excellent program tomorrow. But tonight's the night for our annual Religious Liberty Lecture. Since 2012, our speakers have included Brigadier Jim Wallace, Cardinal George Pell, the Honourable George Brandis, when he was Commonwealth Attorney General, and Elder Quentin Cook of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Over the last 3 years, the lecture has been delivered by 3 leading law and religion academics: Professor Ian Benson, Professor Rex Adar, and Professor Dan Peterson. But tonight our lecture will be given by Monica Dermott, and I'm so very pleased that Monica agreed to give this talk tonight, although she did so quite a long time ago, so she may be regretting that decision. Like many of you, I'm sure I read the page in the Catholic Weekly she writes each week religiously, and I almost always agree with what she has to say there entirely. This only confirms, I'm sure you'll agree, the quality of Monica's thinking and the quality of her writing. She really needs no introduction, but suffice to say that Monica is a writer and public speaker on issues of faith and its intersection with public life. Since October 2018, she's been the Director of Public Affairs and Engagement for the Catholic Archdiocese of Sydney. From August 2017 to January 2018, Monica was the Director of Communications for the Coalition for Marriage. Prior to entering the world of communications, Monica was a senior lawyer in the financial services sector. She holds degrees in medical science and law and a Masters of Bioethics. She really is a fantastic person, and she's here with us now to talk on the topic mandatory inclusivity and practical marginalisation, 2 sides of the same coin. Let's welcome her now. Those of you who were here last night, welcome.